Hi Coding 2, Mr. Agnos here. In this video, I'm going to talk specifically about how to use the arc. I showed you guys how to use it in the previous video, Basic Shapes Review. In this video, I'm going to go into much more detail because the arc can be a little tricky and it is very useful in certain situations. I'm also going to show you a situation or two where maybe you think you need an arc and there's actually a better option. Okay, here I am on my blank programming canvas. I like to work with a black background. So I'm going to start off with make my background black. And then I'm going to go ahead and type in a fill command. I'll just start off with my arc being red. And I'll go ahead and type in my command for arc. All right, an arc takes 6 parameters. And really it helps to think of an arc as an ellipse. It's just you're not drawing the entire ellipse. So it has an x and y coordinate for the center. It has a width, just like an ellipse, a height. But then it has a start position and a stop position, and those are measured in degrees. So I'll start off by drawing an arc with a center at 200, 200, right in the middle of my screen. I'll make it 300 wide and 300 tall, so this is going to be part of a circle. And I'll start it at 0, and I'll end it at 180 degrees. There it is. All right. First off, let me go over the parts of the arc here that you need to know about. The center of the arc, again, is you have to think of this as an ellipse. So if this continued all the way around in a circle, the center would be right here. I should use a better color. So right about there, I'm a little bit off, but right about there is the center of the arc. The width of the arc is the distance from one side of the arc to the other. So that line right there represents the width of the arc, and in this case that's 300. Now the height of the arc is also 300, so that would be starting here, but it's not 300 from the bottom to the center. It would look something like this, as if we completed the circle. So really the distance from the center to the side is only 150. So that can be a little bit confusing right there. Okay, I think what's more important to understand than those is the degrees, the starting and the stopping positions of the arc. An arc is always going to start being drawn over here, and that represents 0 degrees. So this represents 0 degrees, and then what happens is the arc slowly starts to open, and I'm actually going to go and do a little number scrubbing here and go backwards, and you can see how we start at 0, and as my number gets bigger, now it's 5, now it's 10, now it's 20, and so on, the arc starts to open in a clockwise direction until we get to about here, and I'm at 90 degrees. So this position right here is 90 degrees. And then I keep going, so I'll just keep number scrubbing. I get over to here, and that is 180 degrees. Is right here. And then sort of the last big one is 270, so I'll keep going, which would be 3/4 of an ellipse, or in this case a circle. So that would be right here. And that's 270. I'll get better with this writing tool. And if I go all the way around, that is 360, and in that situation you should just be using an ellipse. Okay, why are these degrees important? Well, so right now my arc is, I'm going to say it's opening up, right? It's opening sort of facing this direction. Well, what if I wanted to open the other direction? What if I wanted to so that the flat, so it's opening down? Well, I need a different start and a different stop position. I want it to start over here at 180, and I want it to open and end at 0. So let's go ahead and see if we can make that happen. I'm going to go ahead and delete all these. So this time, if I start it at 180 and end it at 0, nothing happens. Why is nothing happening? Where did my arc go? There's my fill. I have a center at 200, 200, I have a width 300, a height, and I have a start, and I have no arc here. I start at 180. Where did the arc go? So I'm going to try and figure this out, because you're going to run into problems too when you're coding. So I'll just try typing it in again. We want to start at 180, and we want to stop at, well, actually, you know what? How about I type in 360? There it is. Okay. So that's important to know, right? That's important to know. If we want to make an arc on the top here, we have to think of this as, we have to think of this point over here as 360 and not as 0. All right, so now I have an arc that's opening down. Okay, when I say opening down, I mean it's sort of facing down this direction. All right, what if I want an arc that opens maybe to the right? Well, that's where the 90 and the 270 are going to come in. So let's go back and take a look at our numbers here. Maybe I'll just number strip this time. I'm going to make this, so we'll make an arc that opens to the left. So I'm going to make this 270. And I'll make this, oh, see, I've actually gone past 360 degrees. 360 plus 90 degrees is 450. So this is one way that I can get an arc that opens to the left. There's another way as well. I think I can actually, let's go ahead and put my, I'm going to go back and put 0, 180 here. And we want an arc that opens to the left. So rather than starting here, what if I went backwards? So you can actually put negative numbers in here. And notice how if I go to negative 90, right, I'm at that same 270 degree position. So if I go backwards, it is negative 90. But if I go forwards, it's 270. And then I'll back this one up to a positive 90 degrees. So now I have an arc that opens to the left. And what about if I want an arc that opens to the right? Well, I'm going to bring that one around. I'm going to grab this one here. I'll move this one to 90 degrees. And I'll move this one to 270. So, as you can see, I'm not perfect at that, but it just takes some practice. You just got to hop on there and start using it. Okay, one of the things that a lot of times you're actually going to want to use an arc with a no-fill command. And the reason is it sort of fills in this Pac-Man shape, and sometimes that gets in the way. Like the most common, the first place that students in my experience have want to use the arc is for a smile. I want to make a smiley face. So I'm going to make this 0. I'm going to make this 180, and they want to make a smiley face. So let's go ahead and do a no-fill command. And the reason we're seeing nothing is because of the black background. I have to put a stroke here because right now the stroke is black. There it is. And now I can play with the width and the height, right? I'm messing with the height right now, and I want to make a smiley face. Maybe I want to make it more of a smirk, right? I can make more of a smirk like that. So a lot of times, if you just want the outline of the arc, you're going to combine it with a no stroke command, and that's going to be really helpful. If I want my arc to be up and down, right, I can just number scrub. Maybe I want it taller and thinner, so then I'm going to make it less wide and more tall. So all sorts of different things that you can do with the arc. It just takes practice. You just have to jump on there and do what I'm doing and start using it. One place where you might not want to use an arc is to make a crescent shape. And in particular, like crescent moons, for example, a lot of times students want to make those. So you could make a crescent moon with an arc, and we could make this, maybe let's increase the stroke weight. To make this a little thicker. Right, and you're saying, oh, hey, I want to make some kind of crescent moon. So there it is, and I'll even make it, I don't know, some kind of, all right, And then I'll change the background to be like a night sky. And that looks okay, right? Doesn't look great. And maybe you can even change these positions to put at an little angle. Again, depending on the style that you're going for, maybe you want it to look kind of cartoonish like this. But in some situations, I think there's actually a better way to make an arc, and one is by using 2 ellipses. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a no stroke, because I don't want these to have any stroke. I'm going to make an ellipse, and I'll put it somewhere in the upper right-hand corner here. So 300, 100. We'll make it 70 units wide, 70 units tall, and it's being, this no fill command right here is impacting the ellipse. I do want it to have a fill. I actually wanted to have it the same color as this arc right here. So I'm going to go to this stroke. I'm going to cut and paste these numbers here. I'm going to Control C, and I'm going to fill. Control V. Well, I should have typed the fill command first. Then I will close it up. All right, that's not big enough. I'm going to make this 120, 20. That's still not big enough. This 180 and 180. And I'm actually going to use 2 ellipses to make 1 arc. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm now going to draw a second ellipse that is the exact same size. Notice I just cut and pasted it. Except I'm going to give it the fill of the background. So I'm going to go up to my background and I'm going to cut and paste those numbers into a new fill command. So I'm going to grab these 3 numbers right here, Control C, Control V, and you guys can see what happened there. Now watch what happens when I move this second ellipse sort of off to the side a little bit. I get a beautiful crescent-shaped moon, and I can move up a little bit to kind of change the angle. Do I want it facing down? Do I want it facing up? If I make this, I can actually adjust the width of this to change how that crescent looks. So now it's kind of more cartoonish looking. All right, I actually kind of like that right there. So that is a really good way to also make an arc shape in certain situations. Okay, so there's some more information on the arc. I'm not an expert. You can see from my video here that it's tricky. I haven't used it that much I haven't played with it that much until the previous video. So hopefully this video was helpful, gave you some ideas for the arc. If you have questions, shoot me an email or ask in the comments. Thank you for watching.